Originally, oh, we weren't even live yet. I jumped the gun.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Wow, nice and strong group here today. I'm having a fun challenge with my microphone, so bear with me while I continue to get it in a place where you can hear, and I can hear. So we have entered the month of Elul, the month that precedes the month of Tishrei, with all of our auspicious holidays. And the custom is to blast the shofar each day. So we do not need to wait only till the high holidays for that magical ritual to happen. We can do it at every service. So I think sometimes we wonder, why is this the instrument of choice for the holidays? And there's lots of different reasons. But I want to share one with you tonight that I think has particular meaning to me. And then one of the rabbinic customs is when you're sharing a teaching of your rabbi, you don't share it as your own. You always share it as a teaching of your rabbi, and you use their name. So I'll share first a rabbi I haven't met named Laura Metzger, and then I'll add my own experience from my personal rabbi. So she believes that the shofar is selected because it is imperfect. So let's reflect on this as we enter a month of preparing our souls spiritually for saying in our new year and on the holiday of Yom Kippur, we are imperfect, we are flawed, we are human, we make mistakes, we miss the mark. So the sounds of the shofar are odd. They are squawky, uneven, they're hardly beautiful. And they are echoes of an ancient world because it is an instrument made from the horn of a ram. And we've made technological advances to improve every area of human life, but we still use the shofar out. And they come from sheep or goats, and I don't know if you've had the pleasure of buying a new shofar, but a new shofar, because it is an organic material, happens to have a terrible, who knows, odor. It's terrible because it was a living being, and it's only minimally cleaned out and hollowed out, and the mouthpiece isn't comfortable. It's roughly cut and goes up against our mouth. So why hasn't someone come up with a better shofar where the tekiah would be pure like a trumpet, and the shavarim, which are supposed to break our heart, it's a broken sound, could sound more like a blues saxophone, or the teruah could vibrate like a vibraphone. So why not a better shofar? We could do it, but the bleeding, the blasting, the burping shofar gives a most haunting sound. It's not pretty, but it stirs us. It's that spiritual alarm clock. And perhaps it's because it is imperfect, and we are too. My Rabbi Richard Levy would add to this that the reason we use the shofar is this. Who here has ever blasted a shofar? Anyone? Yes? What is this? And now, who here has heard a shofar? Okay, so let's all use our voices to make the sound of a shofar. I'll do the tekiah. Tekiah. Okay, so that's what the shofar sounds like. Trumpet-ish, imperfect trumpet. Who here has tried to blast the shofar, right? What is the noise you need to make that blast? Let's hear it. 1, 2, 3, like you're 3 years old. Well, I don't know about you, but if I did that at my dinner table as a child, it would not go well for me. So we take, is this better? Wow, okay, we take this imperfect, some would even say yucky sound, and we turn it into this loud blast calling everyone. And that too is the purpose of this month of Elul as we prepare for the high holidays. We're taking all of our yucky reflections, our honest look in the mirror at who we are, and we're going to come out with a resounding and strong sound of the shofar. So that's B'Shem Rabbi Richard Levy, a most precious person to walk this earth. I'm going to invite you to rise if you are able. Tonight we're going to practice an interesting custom, which is that on Shabbat, the practice is actually not to blast the sound of the shofar, but instead to use the silence as our blast. So we will offer the blessing of the shofar and the one call, and then we will imagine that stirring sound of the shofar. So we will start with the blessings over the shofar.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לשמוע קול שופר ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Tekiah. You may be seated.
You want to say? We're going to continue with Yedid Nefesh, which can be found on page 636. So turn all the way to the back of the book, near the back. 636, we're going to do the first two verses. Yedi nefesh avarachama משוכבתך אל רצונך ירוץ עבדך כמו הים ישתחווה אל מולדתך ירב לא ידעותך מנופת צוף וכל טעם אדוני זיו העולם נפשי חולת אהבתך אנאל נעטפה נעלה בהערולה נועם זיווך אז תתחזק ותתרפא והייתה לה שמחת עולם יאללה לי 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 יאללה לי 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 יאללה לי 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 lay 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 yalla lay 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 yalla lay 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 yalla lay 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 yalla lay 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 yalla lay 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 yalla lay 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 yalla lay 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 yalla lay 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 lay
Gonna test this mic. Ooh, and it's perfect. Much better. So we're singing these songs, and we have this incredible musician and cantorial soloist, Joel, who uses his voice to express the love that we're bringing in. So it's kind of like a double love night because it's Kabbalat Shabbat, which is this marriage of God and the bride of the Sabbath, and then this month of Elul, where the acronym of Elul is Ani Lidodi, Vidodi Li, I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. So it is a Kabbalat Shabbat of Elul. And I was thinking about what would an expression of God's love look like when I stumbled upon this story that I think is fitting in spiritually preparing us for the high holidays. And the story's told, I have in my hand 2 boxes, one in each hand, which God gave me to hold. And God said, there's a black box and a gold box. Put all of your sorrows in the black box and all of your joys in the gold box. We were just spending some time with the Renaissance group talking about the joys, the simchas of the week. So I want you to collect all of those joys in the gold box. So we heeded God's words, and in the 2 boxes, my joys and sorrows were stored. But the gold box got heavier each and every day with the simchas and the joy. and the black box was as light as before. So with curiosity, we open the black box to find out why. What is happening with all of our sorrows? And what we found was in the bottom of the black box, there was a hole. And all of the sorrows had fallen out. And so we show the boxes to God. And we say, look at this hole. I wonder where my sorrows could be. And God answers us with a gentle smile and says, my child, the sorrows are all here with me. And we ask God, God who gave us the boxes, why the gold and the black is with the hole? And God answers us, my children, the gold is for you to count your blessings, your joys, your simchas. And the black box is for you to let go. This loving God will take those sorrows for us, will relieve our shoulders from the heavy burden and despair that we experience if we let God in. So we continue with another psalm, or Zarua, and that is on page 132, and it is about the light of God. So this idea of the joy, the gold box, I'm wishing you very, very heavy gold boxes this week. 132. The last paragraph on page 132.
Or zarua latzadik ulishvei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvei lev simcha. Ulishvei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvei lev simcha. Ulishvei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvei lev simcha. Ulishvei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvei lev simcha. Ulishvei lev simcha.
We'll continue with our welcoming and our hospitality, and we'll welcome the angels of Shabbat. And it is page 142. Did you want to say something about that? I see you wrote something in here.
I did?
I thought that was...
Oh, no, I didn't write that.
You didn't write that. So we could imagine that these three angels, the ones that Abraham experienced, are the past, the present, and the possibilities. So let's welcome those angels in. Page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharim, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
In a few minutes, I'm going to talk about our blue supermoon that we experienced the other night. But right now, we're going to do a super enhancement of the Psalms, the Psalm of the month of Elul, Psalm 27. You can find it on page 662. It is Achat Sha'alti.
אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אותה אבקש. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אותה אבקש. שבתי בבית אדוני כל ימי חיי, לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו. לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אותה אבקש. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אותה אבקש.
Achat Sha'alti. One thing I ask of Adonai, only that I do seek, to live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai, and to frequent God's temple. So let us consider gazing the beauty of our God, and tell me if you had the chance to see this super blue moon. A few of us. And even if you didn't see it at its precise hour when it was the most vibrant, the other night, maybe in the last few days you've noticed, wow, that is a really spectacular moon. And I can tell you, for the rabbis and the cantors here, that seeing that full moon is like, whoa, the holidays are really close, because it always symbolizes that we're getting close to another cycle. But I thought that tonight we could use the moon as an inspiration for a meditation. And so I want to invite you to get creative with me, and this is something that you can do again once you are able to be outside with the moon. And so give yourself a little space. I love that the families are cuddled close to each other, but give yourself a little space, because this meditation has some movement incorporated into. So I'll invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes and picture that moon. if you are a person comfortable closing their eyes. Just as the moon has cycles of growing fuller and then emptying out, our bodies move through cycles of filling and emptying. And we just saw this super moon that was also a blue moon. A blue moon means it's a full moon twice in one calendar month. And the super moon, that we're the closest to the moon than we are an entire cycle. And some commentators use the Hebrew word keseh to refer to the full moon. And keseh echoes the word kos, which means cup. So the full moon is like a cup filled with abundance. My cup overflows. Kos rivia is the expression in Hebrew. So let's try this movement practice, and we can do it indoors here, and sometime you can do it where you can bathe in the full moon's light. So root your feet down and imagine that earth before your Skechers, before your flip-flops and your high heels. Imagine your toes connecting with that earth and feel those sensations. And now I want you to take your arms nice and wide to the sides of your body. And I want you to really say, hey, I've got 10 fingers. They're not just in this clump of my hand. I can put my 10 fingers separately and apart and spread them. Now really root your feet down now. And now I want you to take a full and deep breath through your nose. As you inhale, you can stretch your arms out to the side, and you can just let them be wide. And then you can create a circle as the hands meet above your head. You can be that moon, and your fingers can stretch up. And I want that moon not to just be the arms over your head, but to be brimming with that light we saw the other night. Now I want you to shift slightly and lift your heart towards the actual moon, towards the sky. Proud chest, we say sometimes. And lengthen through your neck. Oh my goodness, we forget. 23 hours a day, we have a neck. We have a neck. It's beautiful neck. And it holds our heads up high. So notice your neck and tilt your head up, and I want you to gaze into that beautiful moon, the keseh. Okay, now I know your arms have been up for a while, so let's exhale, and you can bring your hands down, and you're going to be drawing the moon's light with you through your fingers and your hands and your arms into your very problematic American shoulders and your neck. And you can fill your whole body with the lunar glow. And as you release your hands and your arms to the sides where they usually sit, and as you continue to exhale, you can repeat this movement now or later, and you can recite the blessing over the one who creates the works of creation. Blessed are you, eternal one, sovereign of the universe, who makes the work of creation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oseh ma'aseh bereshit, who makes the works of creation. And let's say together, Amen. So the moon is coming out, and the angels are with us, and now here comes the bride. I'm looking towards the door, and I'm seeing her, and here she is. But I want you in your mind's eye to imagine a most beautiful, beautiful bride. So what is that bride wearing? Who wants to tell me what the bride is wearing? This is where we get super shy. Vicky always likes to tell me.
Bride is someone who's beautiful, all white, and she's just walking through, passing, without anybody seeing her.
And so here comes Shabbat in that beautiful dress. Anyone else? What does this Shabbat bride look like? Who wants to tell us? Maxine.
So she's got flowers in her hair and a beautiful flowing veil.
Flowers in her hair. What else is she wearing? Who wants to tell me? We're picturing her now in her...
Down her arm. Jewelry, bangles.
I thought you said bagels, which I also thought sounded really great. But bangles work too. Bangles. And you know what I love about it? They make a beautiful noise. So, the jewelry. Here she comes. Lecha Dodi.
We're on page 138. Lecha Dodi likra kala b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likra kala b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likra kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likra kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה לראש בכתם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה.
The top of page 139, verse 5.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת
If you are able to rise, please
נקבלה.
stand and welcome the bride. Verse 9.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated.
Yeah. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר וציוונו להדליק נר וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Let's say toda rabah to Tina and to Vicky for honoring us by bringing in the light of Shabbat. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
This is the first Shabbat shalom, so turn to someone next to you like you love them and tell them Shabbat shalom. Our candles are lit, and we can make the official call to prayer, page 146. Please rise if you are able, the Baruch Hu. ברכו את אדוני המבורך המבורך לעולם ועד המבורך לעולם ועד. We continue with the Shema on page 152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We continue on page 154 with the Ve'ahavta. Please join me. Ve'ahavta את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, amen.
Before we sing the song of redemption of our people, the Israelites from the land of Egypt, by God, through the hand of Moses, I wanted to think about our own personal redemption as we approach these holidays and share with you this very special piece of writing from my teacher, Rabbi Harold Schulweiss, who you probably know worked so many years just down the street. And he was an extraordinary thinker and had a massive vocabulary, but he also wrote poetry that can just penetrate the soul. So this piece is called It Is Never Too Late. The last word has not been spoken. The last sentence has not been written. The final verdict is not in. It is never too late to change my mind, my direction, to say no to the past and yes to the future, to offer remorse, to ask and give forgiveness. It is never too late to start over again, to feel again, to love again, to hope again. Mi Chamocha is on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה ליאנו ואמרו, זה ליאנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. לי 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 יאללה לי לי לי
This week's Torah portion, Ki Tavo, is an auspicious one because 22 years ago, your rabbi became a bat mitzvah. And boy, did she have great insights on the Torah portion as a 13-year-old. And wow, did I not have many understandings about what was happening. But as I approached learning about it this week to teach to you, it was so fitting that the first thing I read was that in this Torah portion we learn that remembrance of things past is essential to a new identity. And I thought, well, perfect, because I'm remembering my bat mitzvah, and that can help me, and maybe with some insight, all of us, form a new identity. And I want to share with you that when I became a bat mitzvah, I was part of a traditional congregation where I was called to the Torah and I read some from the Torah, but I did not count as one of the 10 people in the minyan because I was a young lady and not a young man. And that was very hard for me. And it didn't quite sit right with me. And I'll tell you that I became a rabbi in 2006, and at that time, the congregation where I grew up still was not egalitarian. It was conservative, conservadox, and even once I was a rabbi, I did not count in the minyan there. It has since become an egalitarian minyan. And so this time when I looked at the book of Deuteronomy, I saw it with different eyes. I noticed that almost the entire book of Deuteronomy is a repetition or a reprise of the 40 years of the desert, and that at this moment we're told to look ahead. And there is the formulation of this memory of the past in what's described as the Bikurim ceremony, or the ceremony of the first fruits. Sometimes at congregations, confirmation classes are called Bikurim because they're confirming their faith and they are bringing their first fruits. And there's also this idea that we hear a lot in the Passover Haggadah, that our father was a wandering Aramean, that we were once fugitives. And until 1948, we were without Israel, we were without a homeland. And that meant that we were always, no matter what country Jews were in, we were in a state of diaspora. And so this idea of remembering things past as essential to creating our new identity can inform us as we build this state. And in fact, that is exactly one of the things that the builders of the state did. Written into the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, I should say rather, of the State of Israel, it was one of the first countries to establish equal rights for men and women. That was in 1948. So just a little history flashback to our grand old United States of America. The first attempt at equal rights for women came about in 1923. Not so much happened, but then again, you might be more familiar with 1972, when the Equal Rights Amendment was fully prepared to be ratified and become an amendment where men and women were considered equal in our country. Fast forward to 2023, and we are still waiting for this equal rights to be passed federally, while in California there is an equal rights stance within our state. So as I consider my bat mitzvah and where I stand now on the bima, and I remember the things past as essential to forming our new identity, I'm very proud of our state of Israel. I'm excited to go see the Golda Meir movie. I don't know if you are, but I'm excited to see it and to really continue to move forward with our Jewish state and our Judaism to consider how we give equal rights to all people. And to also remember that the mistakes of our past or the oppression we experienced as wandering Arameans are things that we have to continue to avoid and devote ourselves within the state of Israel to be that shining light amongst the nations. So at this time, we're going to think of the vulnerable people in our community, and I want to try something a little different tonight, which is in our Misha Berach, which you can find on page 371. I'd like to really envelop the names of those who are in need of healing within the song. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the first verse of the song, and then the first verse in Hebrew and in English, and then we're going to call those names of people who are in need of healing, who are the caretakers, and then we'll close the song nice and strong. We'll just envelop them in this Misha Berach hug.
source of strength, who blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Rabbi John.
Sheberach imotenu mekol habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
If you are able, please rise for a silent Amidah on page 164. We will lead us off with Adonai Sifatai Tiftach.
Adonai Sifatai Tiftach ufi agiteilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. The words to Oziv Zimrat Yah can be found on the bottom of page 647 if you want to sing along. Oziv וזמרת ים ויהי לי ישועה עוזי וזמרת ים ויהי לי ישועה עוזי וזמרת ים ויהי לי לישועה עוזי וזמרת ים ויהי לי ישועה עוזי וזמרת ים ויהי לי ישועה עוזי וזמרת ים ויהי לי ישועה עוזי וזמרת ים ויהי לי לישועה עוזי וזמרת ים ויהי לי לישועה.
Such a lovely incantation from Shefa Gold, really the master of this kind of Hebrew chanting, hearkening an ancient sensation of the chanting into a modern context. Really special. Thank you for bringing that tonight. So I've been talking about heading into the holidays, so I have my first Solach Lanu, and please forgive me for not reciting the other names of the important people that we're thinking of for Misha Beirach. And God always hears the names on our hearts, but I'll just add in the names that I omitted before. Janet Blake, Pam Branner, Lynn Newman, Sharon Friedman, Diana Carew, Jeff Borowitz, Erwin Ames, Jeffrey Albaum, Baylor Robinson, Ed Edelson, Mark Jeff Stickler, Leanne Rosenberg, Trish Santana, Dory Glazer, Glenn Martin, Paul Hiddleman, Victor Sidlow, Mike Bergman, Michael Burton, Andrea Schlossberg, Lisa Sage, Ryan Spears, the Nolan family, Michelle Furman, Jimmy Korshak, Ronnie Horowitz, Sydney Herstein, Ruth Nevins, the Ray family, Lori Laxer, Sarah Deschelle, Steve Page, Eileen Landis. Tina is our board host tonight, our co-president, and she's going to share some announcements with us tonight. Please welcome Tina.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good to see you here this evening. Thank you, Rabbi Deborah and cantor soloist Joel, as well as Lindsay in the back for a beautiful service. A couple quick announcements. The High Holy Days that we've been talking about are just around the corner. Tickets will be mailed next week to our renewed and new congregants. So if you have not renewed your temple membership, now we call it temple commitment. If you haven't yet done that and intend to come to services, please do so you get some tickets. Bring your tickets the day of the service for a smoother entry into our campus. If you would like a loved one to be remembered in our Yisker book, fill out the form that's online or call the office for assistance. Our tzedakah this evening is going to the West Valley Food Pantry. Typically during the high holidays, we bring food staples to the synagogue, and those will be donated. We'll be doing that again this year, so save your staples to bring in that week. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. If you're new to Kol Tikva, and I don't know if I see any new faces, but if I'm missing you, come find me and we'll talk about the synagogue and how you can become involved. There's an oneg immediately following the service, and Shabbat Shalom.
We will continue with the Mourner's Kaddish, which is found on page 598. We are remembering as a community the mother of Allison Lauderstein, Susan Goosey Landau, along with others who we lost in this last week that we are commemorating through the 7 days, the Shiva, and the people we are thinking of in the last 30 days marking their Shloshim, as well as people that have their Shana, their annual remembrance of the anniversary of a death through a yahrzeit. If there is a name you wish to share with me, I do not have a yahrzeit list from the community. You have it. Well, that's good. Thank you. I now have a list from the community, and then you can share with me when I complete this. Mahi Benyamin, Leonard Silverman, Feeny Brooke Brenner, Rita Steinhauser, Alvin Cantor, Geraldine Suarez, Rebecca Govons, Anita Saran, Philip Holtzman, Harry Thaler, Sandy Lakin, Evelyn Bell Walker, Lee Maxwell, Sherry Collins Weiss, Jacob Olean, Stuart Weiss, Donald Rosenthal, Sandra Wesley, Sharon Rubin, Richard Wildman, Arlene Schaefer, Marie Wilson, Charles Shalov, Constance Yaspan. If there's anyone you wish to add, or if I've mispronounced any names, please share them at this time or on your heart. We're thinking of those that we have lost in all sorts of events in our country over the last week, as well as those in Israel and the world. Please rise from Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dachol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam l'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen. May God, who creates harmony on high, make peace for us, for all of Israel, and for all of the world, and we'll say together, amen. Get close to someone, or let's close up these aisles so it's just like one community so that there's no space between section A, section B, section C. Let's get nice and close to everyone.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. Please come join us for Kiddush and Hamotzi. Come on up. We'd like the D'Alessio family to lead us in the Kiddush, please.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Yum, yum, yum.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz
Ayavo. מה יפה היום, שבת שלום. מה יפה היום, שבת שלום. שבת, שבת